Since more and more people are talking about microdosing on magic mushrooms or magic truffles, basically on psilocybin, which is like chemical compound found in magic mushrooms, I thought to share my experience on it because I had very different experience every time I microdosed, and I did 3 times. So this is not a scientific video, and I'm not a scientist. I am not a psychologist, therapist, psychiatric, whatever. This is just my experience. In case you are considering doing that, get informed, and also get informed about the laws in your country and your risks and responsibilities. First time I microdosed in my life, it was at the time of my life where I think it was pretty good times actually. I was on a big change, but I was also dealing with anxiety, a bit higher anxiety than normally I have, and it had a lot about, well, not really finding compassion towards some people and towards myself. But in generally that anxiety evolved into something that I couldn't like work very well because I was very distracted and so on. And a friend of mine, he said, "Well, I'm gonna prepare you a very special mix for microdosing," because I told that I was interested to try microdosing on psilocybin, like magic mushroom. And he prepared for me microdoses for 2 or 3 months, and those contained magic mushroom called the golden teacher, as well as lion's mane mushroom, which actually has very different uses. For this context, it was used to help to reduce anxiety and depression, improving brain function. So for many people, that really helps with concentration. Besides of that, these microdoses contain cacao, like raw ceremonial level cacao, which has also very different uses and benefits to our bodies. But once again, in this context, it was like basically increasing energy and positivity. So as soon as I started taking these microdoses that were prepared by my friend, I noticed a really noticeable effect. My anxiety has decreased by a lot. And I felt that it had a lot to do with quite light but noticeable feeling, this inner feeling of a bit more love in generally and compassion. Like, it was much easier to feel love and compassion when I thought about different people in different situations. It definitely gave me some strength and forgiveness towards myself and towards other people, which was really basically these difficult emotions were definitely bringing me down and creating a lot of anxiety. So yeah, and it helped me to also focus a bit better on my work, which was also very positive and noticeable effect from microdosing. And I did microdosing for around 2 to 3 months, and I had this amazing effect. And I started recommending my friends doing the same because I was like, oh my gosh, this is it's crazy. And so the second time I was microdosing was very different experience. I think that I had even better time of my life at that time than in the first time I was microdosing, but I was still wanting a bit more. I guess I thought, well, maybe that can be I can microdose once in a while for some months and take breaks, and just having kind of like a vitamin supplement or whatever just for my mental health. So because I wasn't there anymore, where my friend lived, I decided to just buy some mushroom from some random person, and I wanted to get once again the golden teacher mushroom. And well, I was supposed to get it, and I got it from some random guy. And I weighed it, I blended it, I dosed it for the microdoses, and actually, so the first days I noticed that whenever on the days that I was taking the microdose, I was feeling more anxious. And I was like, that's weird. that cannot be the mushroom, right? I thought like, well, maybe that's just a coincidence, and maybe the mushroom wants to definitely show something to me. But then the more days passed, the more I noticed, okay, I don't really like this effect. And I thought, well, maybe the mushroom is wrong or what, something like this, or maybe it's not potent. Like maybe there's no psilocybin, and this guy just sold me supermarket dried mushroom, whatever. And so I tried to take a full dose, like tripping dose, to just test it if it works. And it worked. It was psychedelic experience, but it was one of the weirdest experience I ever had, because sometimes the trips are very intensive and they're not that positive, but I still see them somehow or experience them in a way very enlightening. But this one wasn't like this. I was anxious the whole time, and I didn't have any very profound experience except for being anxious and being kind of high, but not very, so like, not very clear. And it wasn't like a usual experience. It wasn't like at all like visual or anything like this, which I don't know, sometimes happens anyways. And then I tried a few times after that to microdose, because I thought, okay, well, this mushroom is potent, but every time I had anxiety, and the last time I took it, I had a bit higher anxiety and I was crying, and I just didn't see anything positive bring it to me, and I didn't see anything teaching me except increasing my anxiety, which I decided to stop taking it. And well, maybe that was the lesson, just don't take mushrooms when you feel good. Like, no, I mean, I don't talk for everyone, and everyone is different, and that different person is also having different times in life. I don't know exactly what happened. I talked with some friends, they also don't know. Maybe there was something wrong with the mushroom from the guy on the street that I got from. And I don't know. In any ways, I tried this year taking third try in microdosing. I wasn't really planning after the last time to do it, but then after I stopped taking antidepressants and I was having really low time in generally in my mood, and in generally feeling love inside myself, and being able to concentrate, like that was the worst part. A friend of mine, she told me about these magic truffles that, well, also consist psilocybin, and she was taking it and she said like, oh, I have to get them from Netherlands, and they're really doing a positive change in her life. And I was like, well, maybe it's a really good time to try it once again, and maybe it's gonna work out like the first time. And to increase its success, I also ordered lion's mane mushroom, to basically hoping that will also help me to concentrate better on like day-to-day tasks and work. And yeah, I didn't have very strong effect from these truffles, and it was very disappointing because I did give time for it. I took it for around 4 to 5 months in between. Like I made a break of a month, I think, around that, and I tried different doses. And by the way, this is how it is. Like, you can try different doses on microdosing. Like, it's always a very small dose that you're not supposed to feel like any kind of effects, or if you're tripping, you're supposed to like go like do normal things that you usually do and have very mild effect from it. So everyone has different tolerance levels, and some people need more, some people need less. And I tried each time, no, the second time and third time, I tried taking doses to see if the effect is changing. Like the second time to see if anxiety goes away, and the third time I was increasing dose to see if like for the effect to come, because I really didn't feel it that much. I felt at the time I increased the microdose dose, I felt a bit more sensitivity, and a tiny bit increase of focus, but it was so mild that I could think that that might have been placebo effect. Like on some days, like focus and sensitivity is increase or decrease anyway. So it was so mild that I wasn't even sure if it was the mushroom, like the truffle, or it was something else. And yeah, my overall feelings haven't been changing, and I don't know. I heard from some friends like taking exactly these truffles, very positive feedback. I didn't have negative, but also not really a positive effect. And even like on the days where I have increased sensitivity, that wasn't a very positive thing, because I was overall like struggling with being overly sensitive about everything. So yeah, to just conclude it, like unfortunately there's not so much research has been done on microdosing, on psychedelics in generally, which is really unfortunate, because I still believe, even though I had very different experiences, that it has a good potential to help people, because I've heard from different people very positive feedbacks. I had once really good experience, and yeah, unfortunately I can't find these answers why I had different experience each time. It could be that was my life situations were very different. Last time I took microdoses, I was really struggling with my mental health. And I think that in these kind of times of life, there is no quick fix. And it's not as easy as just to take something to feel better about your life. And yeah, whatever future brings, whether the science is going to prove that microdosing is an effective way to heal anxiety, depression, or whatever different kind of mental health conditions. Let's see what's gonna happen. And even if it's like placebo effect for some people, it's still great. I mean, who cares if it's placebo or not? Seriously, like if that helps, that's the most important thing. And if it doesn't, well, it doesn't. Like we have to keep moving forward and looking for different ways of, I don't know, how to improve our lives. And I'm still gonna keep trying microdosing. I don't want to do it right away now. I do want to take a bit of pause, and I'm gonna do different kind of testing and see what works better for me. You may ask, why am I like not giving up on this? And my answer would be, well, first of all, I have a hope. Second of all, I have had life-changing experiences on psychedelics, like of doing more like full kind of experience of it. And I really had one of the most therapeutic sessions of my life on psychedelics, realizing very important things that even like months of therapy couldn't reveal for me. Therefore, I really believe in these substances, and I respect it as a medicine, as a, I don't know, like kind of a spiritual guide, therapist. And even though microdosing hasn't brought so much for me, I still have a hope, and I'm still open for trying it further.